Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the 5 stages of penetration testing, or also known as pen testing for short. If you've ever wondered how ethical hackers systematically test the security of a network, application, servers, you name it, everything that has to do with the tech infrastructure, well, this video is for you. Now, essentially, if you think about it, pen testing is a structured process that mimics real world cyber attacks to uncover vulnerabilities before malicious hackers do. So that way we are aware of what are the loopholes that can be, exploited, and the team can patch it. Understanding these 5 stages can help business strengthen their defense, that is by fixing loopholes, and prepare for potential attacks and threats. So let's break it down step by step. And the first stage that we have is called the recon or the reconnaissance, which is information gathering. So essentially you'd run through, people's LinkedIn profiles, social media, and find more information. Maybe someone has posted their job ID card. So the first step of the pen testing is called recon. It's also known as information gathering. This is where pen testers essentially collect as much information possible about the target system, a person, a network, you name it. So that's why social media is quite risky when you post a lot of things, the street you've lived in, your spouse's name, your date of birth. And essentially, there are two types of reconnaissance. You have the passive recon, which shows that, you're gathering data without directly interacting with a given target, like using social media platforms, public sources, finding information from domain name lookups, so on and so forth. And then you have active recon. Now, that is directly engaging with the target, such as scanning its IP addresses using tools like Nmap. If you run through some of our walkthrough videos on Hack the Box, you'll see what Nmap does. And so you can find open ports, see what services are running, and enumerate. Now, why this step is important? Well, that's because hackers use this information and it's easier to find as weak points in the system. Ethical hackers use recon to map out a target and plan their next move. So it's as simple as this. If you are married and it's your wedding anniversary, that is literally your maybe your password, with your name at the rate your wedding anniversary. And then while you post on social media, you can find all of this information and then we can leverage it. Maybe your dog's name and your dog's date of birth. I don't know. We come to stage two, which is scanning and enumeration. Well, once enough information is gathered, the next step is scanning and enumeration. This stage focuses on actively probing the target and identifying potential entry points, using open ports or some services. So some of the key activities that are included here is network scanning. So identify live hosts, so you can use the ping command, and open ports using tools like Nmap and Nessus to find vulnerabilities and find more information. Vulnerability scanning. Well, detecting known weaknesses in the systems and applications, something like outdated softwares. Service enumeration. Identify running services and their versions to find exploitable vulnerabilities. Similar thing. This stage is crucial because it provides a blueprint of the target's infrastructure. Hackers look for outdated software, misconfigurations, weak authentication mechanisms to exploit later. Which brings us to the stage 3 of pen testing. That's technically 6, but 3. Stage 3 is gaining access, getting that initial foothold or exploitation. Now comes the most exciting part, and dangerous part, while gaining access. In this stage, ethical hackers accept or attempt to exploit the vulnerabilities they discovered in the previous phase. The goal is to break into the system and prove that an attacker could potentially do and cause some damage. Some of the common techniques used in this particular phase of exploitation or getting that initial foothold, as we're talking, is exploiting software vulnerabilities. So as I said, looking for outdated softwares and exploits, brute force attacks to find weak passwords, social engineering. Once inside, pentesters try to escalate their privileges and move laterally within the network and access sensitive data, just like a real attacker would do. So these steps and this particular step essentially helps organizations understand the security gaps and how to defend against real-world attacks. Stage 4, maintaining access, or post-exploitation. If an attacker successfully breaches a system, their objective is to maintain that access. This stage is known as post-exploitation, where hackers install backdoors or persistent mechanisms to stay in the system undetected, undetected being the key element here. Some common post-exploitation techniques that a lot of threat actors have been using, and some of them include creating a hidden user account, well, to regain access even if the initial, exploit is patched. You still have a hidden account that you can gain access from. Deploy malware or rootkits to maintain long-term control over the compromised system. And exfiltrating sensitive data, while stealing confidential information like customer records or intellectual property, the usual. This phase helps companies improve their incident response and detection capabilities. As an ethical hacker, when you give these persistent-based aspects, this gives a company the foresight what is the possibility of persistence. Well, stage 5, covering tracks and reporting. This is the final stage that involves covering tracks and providing a detailed report. In a real cyber attack, hackers erase logs, delete evidence, and use obfuscation techniques, my bad, to avoid detection. However, in ethical hacking, this phase is about documentation and reporting. A penetration test report usually includes a summary of findings, so the key vulnerabilities discovered and their impact, the proof of concept exploits, evidence showing how the vulnerabilities were exploited, and risk assessment. So you have a rating of each vulnerability's severity and how severe this particular impact could potentially be. Recommendations, the most important thing. Steps to patch vulnerabilities and improve security defenses. This report is crucial because it helps organizations understand their weak points and take action before real attackers actually exploit them. And that's a wrap on the 5 stages of penetration testing. Not the wrap, but WRAP. To recap, we've covered reconnaissance, gathering intelligence on the target, scanning and enumeration, identifying vulnerabilities and open doors for us to gain some access, which brings us to gaining access, exploiting weaknesses to break into the system, maintaining access, understanding how attackers persist in a system, reporting, right? So covering tracks and reporting could be the 5th one, and documenting findings and improving security. Pen testing is an essential part of cybersecurity, helping businesses stay ahead of cyber threats. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on cybersecurity tips and tricks. Let me know in the comments if you want to deep dive into any of these stages, and until next time, stay safe online.